right, continuing in the conversation of the industry, which is entertainment industry. Because Nansing, a woman out to say, for you're listening net to saying. Now, recently, I saw a very unique one. Stoneboy, yeah. The listening had its own, earpiece, and that's a speakers are not yet share for the listening. I was like, okay. I was wondering what is in the speakers, number different tones. And I said, what is going on? But it is a thing. But none other to converse and to have this conversation with us as someone on also nim entertainment industry name. He is Elorm Beanie. He is a publicist and an artist manager. So hopefully he will tell us what was in the speakers. Now I was wondering, Nebia blue, Nebia green. Beanie Amakwaba, lovely to have you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning
Beanie.
to you. Good morning to you.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you. It feels good being in this seat.
Yeah. let me ask you, the first time you heard PCS or MEA, what went through your mind? I mean, were you at a listening party, or you just got to listen outside when the song was released?
Okay, I couldn't get the privilege to be at a listening party.
Okay.
But when the song was released later and the video too, I had the opportunity to actually watch, and even watch now before getting on set.
Oh, okay.
I always say I'm somebody I'm an old soul in a new school body.
Our conversation, man. Now yes. Cassandra will understand
so
me.
You get the depth of the music.
Yes, so her type of gospel music is what I would groove to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come from the culture of Joe Beecham,
yes.
Daughters of Glorious Jesus, that type of sound. Not to say the other ones that fall outside it is not good, but that's the culture.
This is what you grew up on.
Yes. And even looking at the visual presentation of the song, the music video, it gives you a throwback.
Okay.
Like the vintage fashion and all
of
that.
Yes.
Not
necessarily slavery, because back in the years, in the 1800s and 1900s, many rich blacks or black Americans, that's how they were costumed. So it actually presents a very rich culture of the African vibe, or an urbanized version of the African culture. So you see the horses and all of that, and a blend of different races, which makes the music video even more global.
More rich, yes. Wow. Very, very important.
I love it.
Why do we have to have a listening session before an album is released? What is so authentic about that phase before an album is released?
Okay, I think with the new world of promoting music or marketing music now deserves that. Not that it hasn't been happening back in the years. It's been happening, but just that it's been turned up some notch higher, whereby, and the listening party, I classify it in two. For, let me use Samini's Untamed album, for example. What we do is we had like two different listening parties. The first one is actually in-house. So that's like the building stages of the album. So the rough sketches or the finalized work is brought. So there's an in-house team that actually listens to the entire album and make corrections before it's mixed and mastered.
Okay. So that's the first listening that comes.
Some do it that way.
Happens.
So on Samini's Untamed album, we did that before it was even mixed and mastered. So if there are some corrections that needed to be done, you have musicologists, you have producers, you have people like myself who are into the music business, who do the business of music. So you make certain decisions or corrections before it's even mixed and mastered. There are some artists who they skip that, and after creating everything, they have an exclusive listening with a couple of people, which includes the producers, music tastemakers, marketers, distributors, and even fans and the media.
Now, before let's go back a little bit.
That's fine.
On what you just said. If ye nyumni bibiye na ye de ba na senkrofoti na wo say does it go back? Does it not delay progress of the work?
Not to say delays progress. No matter how good something is, people will still have their own reservations. And some artists I know, they not that they trust their work, but they believe that they've created something substantial. So they'd rather create everything, and when it's finalized, then they give you the opportunity to listen. Also, you know, I say every artist is in school. You move from kindergarten 1, kindergarten 2 to primary 1. So it's a lifelong learning process as a creative.
Okay.
So sometimes they do experiment with certain works. So it could be that they want to experiment and know what the public thinks. So they wouldn't give you the opportunity to listen from the creating process or the where they have the sketches.
Yes.
When it's finalized, yeah, just let it go. Let them have a listen to the finalized work, because they want to get some point of view from certain people or what direction that people think about. So that is also allowed. It's very
Before we
allowed.
go to the elements of
Yeah.
listening, when they say, because today in our motivation, it says, if you're a keen listener, there are things that you hear. For example, I'm a musician in Tisemitie. I'm listening to the, you know, to the chords of
Yeah,
the
the
guitar.
chords,
I'm
yes.
listening to the
detailing.
mastering, the mixing.
The
So
vocals.
Nyama Mimitie Wumni quite different from, you know, what the ordinary people will listen to. If you before the product comes out,
Yeah.
and you do a listening,
Yes.
does it not dilute? Because like you're saying, some of them wait till it's a finished product
Yes.
because they're confident
Yes.
in what they're bringing. Others decide that before it's mixed, or, you know, does it not also dilute, you know, because if you have too many people speaking, oh no, because remember, our ears, we all listen differently,
Yeah.
or we all hear
Yeah.
different things.
Yes.
It's, you know, someone say, maybe Elorm says, no, the kick, no, they, you know, just
Yeah.
make it a bit
Yeah, you
heavy.
wish, yes.
Then someone also says, no, pan it a little bit. Oh no, add strings here.
Yes.
Does it not dilute the music if you're to do it that way?
You know, opinions are always welcome, and it doesn't mean that every opinion that comes to you, you accept it.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, if you decide to do a listening party before it's even released and you feel like you need to make these changes and
Okay.
it's valid, why not? You can do it. And I don't see where the music gets diluted
Okay.
in most cases, because it rather gives it a platform for people to actually review your work, and perhaps you have a marketing plan that you want to use to promote the album or the creative work, but whilst holding a listening session, you could get ideas from other people that would even help you to, you know, add a lot more to your marketing and distribution plans, and how to even add certain value to your work. So I don't see anything being diluted here.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Nas had a listening session.
Thanks for mentioning Nas.
Yeah, Nasir Jones, you know, Nasir Escobar, had a listening session under the bridge. Like, I'm talking about New York, Queens Bridge. And there were
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, that's where you saw that listening. There was a lot of people, different fans that came here and there. When let's look at our stage here in Ghana, who are supposed to be at the listening party, who are supposed, because for me, if you're releasing an album for the masses, then it means that you must have to apply what Nas did, whereby he had everybody tripping in and they would play one song after the other. Even Kanye was there because he produced that particular album. If you are venturing into that space, who then is qualified to come to that listening and party?
I think that one varies from one artist to the other. One artist may choose to just have industry people or just musicologists to come and have a listening party. Another artist might choose just the media. Another artist might just choose the fans. Another artist might just choose a blend of two or more of these people.
Okay.
Music marketers, music taste makers, fans, producers, musicologists, instrumentalists. So it depends on the artist. I can't decide for the artist.
Okay.
So
But
it
as
depends
a publicist, what would you advise?
Ideally, you should have some space for music producers, musicologists, some veteran musicians.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Some new school musicians as well should be there.
Okay.
Have some people in the media also attend. Have some of your fan base. Not just core fan base, because some of the core fan base, I call them, some of them are
biased.
yes man. They are biased.
Yes.
Whatever you throw at them,
of course.
they're good with
they
that.
know to us he's my favorite artist. So whatever
he brings out is
yes.
good.
So you try and strike a balance within your fan base as well. So you have very constructive
criticism,
feedback, or criticism as well. So I think these things matter, and people who actually distribute or market your music to
must be there.
Yes,
must be there.
Should be there.
What
So
are the elements of this listening? So in a listening, you know, like the one Stonebwoy had, I thought it was beautiful. I was looking at, you know, the different...
Quite spectacular, yeah.
Yes, quite spectacular. It came with its own art.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't a normal one. You have your own speakers listening to it. What are we supposed to be listening to? If you were to go to a listening session, what are the elements that is supposed to be looked out for?
Okay, let me talk for me because I cannot really talk for me.
No, yes.
So ideally, when you go for a listening party, when I go for a listening party, I'm looking at your songwriting abilities, your vocal delivery, how versatile your album is. That is, if it's an album, if not a single, an album, how versatile your album is.
Where versatility will be what?
Versatility comes into play in this new age that everybody's talking about Grammys. Okay, if somebody is in China, what elements of your production will make the person feel like the music is also connected to them? Are you playing violin? Yes. Are you playing violins, or are you playing kologo, so that somebody from the north will feel like, oh, a part of my culture or my ensemble is part of your creative work?
Okay.
So as a top fan from the Volta region, maybe I would want to hear you play some agbaja, some of the traditional drums, the sivu, some of these things, they matter. So a lot of things matter when some of us, we are listening to albums. So that is what makes it a versatile album. Okay. Because on the level of the Grammys, these are things they look at. If you are from Africa, you are doing a reggae album. Okay, the reggae album, is there any African touch in it? Is there anything Asian in it, but it's still reggae? So these are things they look out for. So when you take Rocky Dawoni's album, Branches of the Same Tree, for example, listen to the entire album, you see that there are bits of almost every continental ensemble in there, if not everything. So these are things that some people actually look out for. And for Stonebwoy's album, Fifth Dimension, which we listen, I think my brother did a lot of good work, and he ticked a lot of the boxes in there. You hear reggae, foundation reggae, you hear foundation dancehall, you hear Afrobeat, you hear something like High Life, you hear Amapiano, you hear something like R&B, a combination of hip-hop, everything. So it's like a good blend of almost everything. So, yeah.
Oh, I like that. That means the musician who is thinking
And
universally has a lot of work to do. Are there few guys who are actually touching the whole world with the music?
I think a lot of artists are doing that. I can mention people like Walasi.
Thank you.
Who is doing very good in that.
Good morning, Walasi, wherever you are. Twali to you, Baba. Me, you too much,
but fortunately, unfortunately, you know, they are not the most popular. You need to be of a certain, you need to be able to hear, to be able to enjoy their music.
For lack of a better word, let me say the problem with the new generation of music is that the fans, whatever is appealing to their ears is what they go by. It's not necessarily, I mean majorly, it's not necessarily about the message or the creativity. Once it touches their eardrums and it sounds pleasing to their ears,
they're happy with it.
But people like my sister.
Do you know we have something in common?
You know,
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, well, before we get into that, now let's look at listening parties and copyright.
Yes.
You are coming to my listening session.
Yes.
I have written songs, you know, putting down lyrics here and there. The album might be released, let's say, 5 days after the listening party.
Yes.
Then maybe 2 days before my album is released, I hear another artist who was going to reproduce, you know, or produce some song with some of my words. How do you govern that space? How do you?
This is very simple. Not to cut in that. Before you do all these listening parties,
you should have protected your work.
You've already logged in the artists who actually know what to
do. You should have protected your work.
Maybe you are listening the space whereby you spoke about the Untamed album.
Yes.
Whereby you listen with engineers to.
That's why you know who you are bringing to your listening party.
So you have to copyright everything before.
At that
what
stage,
the changes comes
yes,
in.
At that stage, you are mostly listening with technical people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And ideally, which technical people will come and steal your lyrics for your song and go and create something. Sampling in music is allowed. It is allowed.
Yeah.
It's become very common these days.
It's allowed to sample, but it will be
painful.
There's also some form of legality there, or allows you to actually pay for somebody's sampled work.
Okay.
So if I sample your song, there's an agency called Harry Fox Agency in the USA. Locally, I can't talk for that, but Harry Fox Agency in the US actually takes care of that. If I need to even pick some of your lyrics of your song to recreate mine, I have to log into the system and actually give these details that, I'm using Cassandra's song, or I'm using Turaz's song to actually create a new sound. So there's a percentage split that actually goes to you or her.
Wow.
So that is not theft. Yeah. So many people use Bob Marley songs, lyrics, even do song covers. I'm not sure we've heard anybody from the Marley family.
But they go through the right process.
Once you go through it, the family doesn't even need to come to ask you why are you using my song, because you've already logged into the system and they know there's a revenue share coming in for them.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
But just before we wrap up, thank you for coming through. Yes. Just before we wrap up, Africa One Media, right?
Yes.
So you remember Cassandra?
I know very well.
Yes. This man has managed me before. Jabulani.
People don't know.
Yes, people don't know. Africa One Media. He's worked behind the scenes with my music before.
Wow.
So yeah, I know him. I didn't know the face, but I've known the name.
For Cassandra?
No, we didn't do a listening session. That was when I was in SA.
We did some reviews even before she came down.
Yeah, before I came down. No, my
Good morning to Madam Cynthia.
But yeah, Madam Cynthia, good morning to you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You see what Max Morning does every single day. This is a reunion listening party.
You should tell them that I also work for you when we were in SA.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you came to me and you were like, the person we are interviewing is called Elorm Beanie. Elorm Beanie.
I was excited because I was getting up and, I was like, Elorm Beanie is coming on the show.
I know.
Elorm Beanie.
Yeah. For me, some of my SA now, they were marketing my music, But then every article he does, his name is there. So the name, I resonate with the name.
I love to work like a ghost. So that's why they call me show business.
And I'll say thank you for publishing my work with Revolt TV. What's Good Africa. Thank you so much, man. Such a go-to guy. Please, if you are watching, this man is somebody where you take a number by fire by
crook. I know, eh?
You understand?
I know. An artist manager.
Yeah, he will take you places that you've never seen and never been or never even dream of going. Elorm, so your final word. Anyone who's never done a listening, who probably don't have, you need a budget to do a listening.
Yes.
This thing for any artist who is wants to come up strong, is it a necessity for them to do or go through that process of having a listening party?
Ideally, it is
or
good.
They need a budget.
You should, and sometimes you might not necessarily need a budget.
How much
if somebody is
is
financing or supporting you, you don't need to pay anything. There are some artists who actually get certain venues and it's more like a sponsorship from the venue. So they give you their space to come and do your listening party. So you're not actually paying anything for it. If you have a strong team that knows their way around, you can do a listening party without even paying a peso.
Do you have to pay the invited listeners?
You have to pay Elorm to bring Elorm to listen.
Well, there's a way all that is done. No, sometimes if you need to bring somebody who is a business person, you need to cater for them. So we can't skip that part. I can't be in this seat and pretend as if nothing comes across the table. Because if you need my service, you need to cater for me. So,
All
yeah.
right. Fantastic. So
Wow.
now